in the dome.
What shape is the Earth, Daddy?
Hey guys, today we are going to be discussing a video I came across featuring Shane Dawson and his brother and their belief in the flat earth theory. Shane Dawson is a pretty prominent figure on YouTube with almost 14 million subscribers, and this video has already accrued over 10 million views. Something tells me that there is about to be a new wave of flat earth idiots flowing through the YouTube community. This is only one of several conspiracies in the original Shane Dawson video, and if you would like to watch the original, a link will be in the description. So let's begin.
I know, flat earth, one of the most controversial theories of all time. And I'm gonna be honest, I've never even looked into it because there's such a stigma around it.
Well, that's because most flat earthers are disingenuous idiots that don't accept evidence unless it supports their claim. The stigma they receive is deserved and akin to the stigma that creationists, religious fanatics, and woo peddlers receive for their idiotic assertions.
Okay, I am here with my brother Jared, who might be an even bigger conspiracy theorist than me.
If that's even possible. But I'm trying.
So I want to talk to you about the flat earth theory because it's something that you've kind of touched on and I always kind of like move on because I've heard it's so crazy.
It is very crazy.
I agree. The idea that we live in a self-contained system that does not conform to observational reality and breaks or defies every known law of physics is completely crazy and reserved for middle school dropouts and the mentally ill, both of which who have scientifically been proven to have intelligence levels comparable to flat earth idiots.
In order for you to even start to take it seriously, you have to put yourself in the mind frame of people that believe in the flat earth. And why would they even want to believe in the flat earth?
This is simple. Flat earthers are idiots. They have an unfulfilled desire to feel important. And while living on a flat earth makes them feel important, it neglects to address their mental illness.
Well, you're saying they, so you don't believe it?
I'm open to the idea.
And you are an idiot.
Okay, so we have to be in the mindset, right?
Yeah, so you gotta be in the mindset. So you have to think about the foundation of it.
Here are just a few pictures from space that didn't come from NASA. My current favorite is the Himawari 8, which takes a full globe Earth picture every 10 minutes. And that's commissioned by Japan's space agency, JAXA. A link to the Himawari 8 website will be in the description.
So NASA is also associated with the moon landing being a hoax.
One small step for man.
And you are an idiot. The moon landing was absolutely real. I've recently started traveling down the moon hoax rabbit hole in an effort to expose the truth. But there just isn't enough evidence to support the idea that the moon landings did not happen.
They are some of the most famous images in history. But why are there no stars in the night sky?
Exposure of the camera was set to capture the Earth and not the stars?
Why is the American flag waving here when there was no air to cause any breeze?
Because conservation of momentum is a thing, and there is no atmosphere to stop the flag from waving?
I'm sure that's something that everyone at this point has heard of, right? All the pictures that they take of the Earth are composite images, so no images that we see are actually ever a camera from real far away looking at the Earth.
Except this one, and this one, and this one, and oh yeah, this one, which was the last picture taken by Himawari 8 at the time of editing this video. You are an idiot.
Wait, what do you mean?
They're all composite images because they can't just get it all in one shot, so they have to go around the Earth and take a bunch of pictures and then they piece it together.
Okay, so now it's obvious that you are not a professional or even a hobbyist photographer. Shit, man, I'm not. And even I know that objects that are really big may need composite images to make a full image. For instance, a panoramic camera takes several pictures and finds similarities in each photo to realistically piece them together to form one photo. While the final image is a composition of several images, each image in itself is still real, as is the final product. You are an idiot.
If you zoom in on them, there's cloud formations that repeat several times, which how could that ever really happen? They're just copying and pasting things.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
I'll be sure to let the 9-year-old photoshoppers at NASA know they are doing a shitty job. The repeating patterns are nothing more than fill space required for the gaps that result from the composite imaging process. It has to be photoshopped because without photoshopping the image, it would be incomplete, rendering the model useless.
That we can keep track of Egyptian pots from 2,000 years ago, but we lose tapes made only 40 years ago.
So we lose all the footage, and all the technology was destroyed.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
Hold on. Maybe we should let that clip play all the way through so that we keep you from doing something fallacious like quote mining.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
So what he is saying is that we don't have that technology anymore. We already destroyed it, and it's a painful process to rebuild it. He's not saying it's impossible to rebuild it, it's just a painful process to rebuild it. So it's not that we don't have the knowledge anymore, it's that the upgrades that we have made to the space program since the Apollo program are for low Earth orbit only and are not equipped to get us back to the moon yet.
And then, if you take science into consideration, science only works if you have one magical event that no one has to actually have proof for.
You are an idiot, and no it doesn't. Science is based around predictive models that explain natural events. There are theories that are incomplete, like the theory of general relativity, which breaks down at the quantum level, but this does not make them wrong.
Everything stems from the Big Bang Theory. Something the size of a pinhead, two atoms connecting, blowing up, and creating everything that's in this universe.
The current Big Bang Theory involves a quantum fluctuation that occurred in a rapid expansion of space-time transpiring over a short amount of relative time. I don't know where you are getting this two atoms colliding and exploding to create everything in the universe, because this would require the universe to already exist. You are an idiot.
Right, and then Einstein thought of the theory of gravity, which is just a theory.
No. Newton came up with the law of gravitational attraction. Einstein developed the theory of general relativity, which better explains and predicts how massive objects are mutually attracted to each other. I think now is the proper time to differentiate a scientific theory from a colloquial theory. A scientific theory, as defined by dictionary.com, is a coherent group of propositions formulated to explain a group of facts or phenomenon in the natural world and repeatedly confirmed through experiment or observation, while the colloquial use of the term theory means the theory of general relativity is a coherent proposition that explains the gravitational attraction between two objects with mass as observed in the natural world and confirmed in barns and laboratories since Henry Cavendish performed the Cavendish experiment in the late 18th century. The flat earth theory is, and flat earthers are idiots.
You have the Big Bang Theory,
evident by the discovery of the cosmic microwave background radiation, first discovered in 1941 by Andrew McKellar and then more famously rediscovered and confirmed by Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson in 1964 with the Holmdel horn antenna.
the theory of gravity.
You are an idiot. Gravity is not a theory. It is a scientific law known as Newton's law of gravitational attraction. Einstein owns the more defining theoretical version of gravity, which is the theory of general relativity.
The last thing that you have to think about is religion.
No, I don't. Religion is a useless appendage that gets in the way at the most inopportune times in life. It offers no predictive capabilities, yet demands certain moral obligations. Some of these moral obligations can lead to immoral human decisions, like the members of the Westboro Baptist Church protesting the funerals of soldiers who have died in the line of fire, and radical Christian and Islamic violence in the name of their respective religions.
So in the Bible, it talks about the sea, there's the sky, there's the firmament. What the firmament is a dome.
Then the Bible is simply wrong. Where is there any evidence of a firmament or dome overhead? There is none, because the dome doesn't exist.
It says that in the Bible.
Yeah, there's a firmament, so the dome shaped, the heavens are above it, and then it talks about how the earth expands to its four corners. So that also would make you feel like there could be a flat shape to it.
Yeah, sure, whatever, but you're an idiot. I covered this in my last video about the 75 Bible verses that don't prove the flat earth. The four corners of the earth, as described in the Bible, were most likely referring to the way map makers divided their maps into 4 quadrants.
Okay, so really quick, give us a breakdown. What is the flat earth theory and why does it exist?
The flat earth theory exists because the world has way too many idiots inhabiting it that desperately need something idiotic to believe in. Plus, if they knew something that 7 billion other people don't know, then that makes them feel special, when it is really the other way around. 7 billion other people understand what these special education idiots do not.
So the flat earth theory
claims there are no pictures of Earth from space, then proceeds to use the Himawari 8 satellite photography later in his video. You guys are idiots.
is that we are not on a ball, we're not on a sphere. We're on something that's flat. A flat plane, a planet, right, is just the word plane with a T.
Yeah, you're an idiot. The Greek root of planets literally translates to wanderer. The Greeks originally believed planets to be wandering stars, so the nomenclature of planets was assigned to them before they were even discovered to be other physical worlds. It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. This is just a coincidence.
And Antarctica, which is in the very south, is an ice wall that's around all of the continents. So instead of us being able to go around the world, it's all enclosed by Antarctica's ice wall.
So this ice wall is so tall that no one can climb it, yet so small that no one has ever seen it or touched it. I mean, it has to be taller and more treacherous than Mount Everest, which has been peaked by more than 4,000 climbers since Sir Edmund Hillary in 1951. And I know what you are already screaming at your monitor, but what about these pictures of the ice wall? That's not an ice wall. That's like 100 meters tall, and you are an idiot.
So the United Nations map is actually the flat Earth.
The Antarctic Treaty was formed to prevent any nation from laying claim to the resources on the continent, which may result in an armed conflict. It specifically prohibits military activities unless they are being used for scientific purposes. It's specifically purposed to ensure that Antarctica is used for peaceful purposes only, to ensure facilitation of scientific experiments below 60 degrees south latitude, to ensure that all participants in the treaty help facilitate each other, and to ensure the preservation and conservation of living resources on the continent of Antarctica. Nowhere in the treaty does it ever say that people cannot visit Antarctica.
So if you try to get close to Antarctica, they're gonna tell you, get the hell out of here. You could go on little explorations of it, but nothing without a bunch of people monitoring you.
While most restrictions regarding visitation to Antarctica are due to scientific research and safety restrictions, and as per the treaty, the preservation of the living resources on Antarctica is one of the main priorities. So there are officials there to watch you to make sure that you don't violate the treaty and to ensure that you make it in and out of one of the deadliest environments on Earth safely. There is no army of UN penguins waiting to shoot you if you get too close to the ice wall. Flat earthers are just gullible idiots.
Right? And planes don't fly over it. All flight patterns take you away from Antarctica. No one's flying directly over.
There are many reasons for this, but the main ones are: 1. The terrain in Antarctica is too harsh for plane crash survivors to live long enough for help to arrive. 2. Flying near the poles makes navigation a nightmare, and when combined with rapid whiteouts, the risk simply outweighs the rewards. And number 3. ETOPS, or extended range operations with two-engine airplanes, which is a Reagan-era FAA rule that states that twin-engine aircrafts cannot travel beyond 60 minutes of the nearest airfield. This regulation allows for only 3- and 4-engine aircrafts to have the ability to fly over or near the poles. So your best option to catch a flight going over the poles is to charter a flight from a private company with an experienced pilot.
They always take a weird route. Like, there was an airplane that was going from the Philippines to Los Angeles, which should be a straight route, Philippines to Los Angeles. Mid-flight, a woman, her water broke. So they had to make emergency landing. They could have either just turned around or kept going to Los Angeles. Somehow they ended up in Alaska. So the flight plan to get them from Philippines to Alaska, if you put it on the flat Earth map, it's a straight line from the Philippines to Alaska. But when you put it on a globe, it makes no sense. Right?
This guy is even more of an idiot than the last person that made this dumbass assertion. The plane left Hong Kong, not the Philippines. And this has been debunked many times, including by one of my favorite debunkers, Wolfie6020. Apparently, flat earthers like to use their two-dimensional geometry on a three-dimensional spheroid. But flat earthers are idiots, and I don't think they'll ever figure this one out.
Well, one thing that he did that like a lot of flat earthers felt like was a personal attack was when he sent that car into space with a camera, it showed that the earth was round. And everybody's like, ah, see, flat earth is stupid. Elon Musk showed us that it's round. But in that video, there is a weird moment. And it's like a glitch. And it's a moment where it kind of looks like a green screen. You see the earth behind the car, and then it's a studio, and then it's back. Now that's been debunked.
If you know that it has been debunked already, then why did you bring it up? Shane Dawson, you are an idiot.
All this space stuff is fake. You know what I'm saying? This is just a distraction.
And just like your brother, you are an idiot.
And then, where's the curve? Have you ever seen the curve of the Earth?
The Earth is just too big to see curvature from 6 feet of elevation. You must increase in elevation significantly to see visible curve with the naked eye. Now, while the physical limitations of your eye will not allow you to see the actual curve of the Earth from only 6 feet of elevation, you can still see the effects of the curved horizon, as all ships disappear hull first, mass last, and no matter how powerful a telescope is, there is a point at which the ship can never be brought back into view, which is completely inexplicable on a flat Earth.
I mean, they say, well, in an airplane you could see it, but I can't see it. Yeah.
But you are an idiot. Just look at those cock blockers on your face. Obviously, your eyesight is not even that of the average human being, so how can you use your personal visual experiences as evidence for anything?
You're at 6 feet tall. I can see about 3 miles ahead of me, and I can see about 20 miles in the panoramic setting. If I'm 10,000 feet up, more than 1,000 times taller than what I am, shouldn't I be able to see about 1,000 times more at minimum?
I would suggest that you go back and take middle school math class again, because what you said is outright stupid. Using the curvature calculator at metabunk.org, it gives us a horizon 3 miles away at a viewer height of 6 feet and only 122.5 miles at 10,000 feet of elevation. You are an idiot.
I mean, the Earth is only 24,000 miles around. I should be able to see some kind of a curve.
What? Did you just say that the horizon being 3 miles away and the Earth's radius only being 25,000 miles around, you should see the curve? Only 25,000 miles. Like, no big deal, it's only 25,000 miles. Like, at a consistent 100 miles per hour, it would still take me 12.5 days to drive around the equator 25,000 miles. Only 25,000 miles. You are a fucking idiot.
So if the Earth is flat, why do the people in charge want us to think it's round?
Because on a round Earth, hurling through space at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, we're not really here for a purpose. We're just here coincidentally because of a Big Bang and the particles and evolution.
By all calculations, the odds that humans should even be here was stacked against us from the beginning, and yet here we are. Every other environment we have ever studied outside of Earth is deadly to mankind. We get one shot at existence, and the only purpose you have is to procreate and do your part to continue the human race.
But on a flat Earth with a dome on top of it, or even just a flat Earth with just the heavens above, all of a sudden we have purpose.
You are an idiot. This argument is beyond illogical. 7 billion humans trapped under a dome with a supernatural being observing everything from over top is similar to the world's largest ant farm. Sorry, but that feels more purposeless to me than an entire universe with which we can explore and spread the human seed.
Think about if the moon knew your name, how personal you'd feel with the universe.
What the fuck? You're a fucking idiot. If the moon knew my name, I would be creeped the fuck out. It wouldn't make me feel special, it would make me feel fucking paranoid. What else would the moon already know about me? Should I even bother deleting my browser history?
You know the moon's name, but the moon doesn't know your name. You're not important to the moon.
Oh my god, you are such an idiot. The moon can't know your name because the moon's an inanimate object that doesn't have the capabilities to store memories or consciously interact with its surrounding environment. And you're right, you are not important to the moon. The moon will do what the moon does regardless of your existence. The moon is far more significant to any single human than the totality of mankind is significant to the moon.
But what if the moon existed solely for you? What if the universe was for you?
Appealing to emotion is fallacious and not a good argument. If this was the case, the moon wouldn't exist just for you. 1/7 billionth of the moon would exist for you. And as it stands with the current paradigm applied to this argument, 1/7 billionth of the entire universe is here for you. If that doesn't make you feel special, well, you're an idiot.
But instead, the government wants you to feel like it's all unpredictable and at any point it's all going to go to shit because we really don't matter anyways. We're just a rock flying through space. So it just makes us feel insignificant.
I don't feel that way at all. In fact, I would say that most parents don't feel insignificant to their children. Most athletes don't feel insignificant to their fans. Most teachers don't feel insignificant to their students. I don't get where this insignificance argument comes from. Bottom line, if you feel insignificant on a ball hurtling through space, but significant in a 24-hour supernatural zoo designed strictly to please an oppressive sky fairy, then you are an idiot.
Why is everybody that even thinks maybe there's a possibility of the Earth being flat called crazy?
Because it's a way to discredit people.
No, it's because they are delusional, disingenuous, intellectually dishonest, mental midgets that deny any and all evidence that does not fit their worldview, and discredit anybody that has a higher intelligence than them. Simply put, all flat earthers are mentally insane, crazy, narcissistic idiots.
So by them calling you crazy, they've discredited everything about you. You know, once you find out someone is a flat earther, are you going to take anything they say seriously?
Nope. Flat earthers are idiots. They have yet to provide anything beneficial to humanity. They are unintelligent morons that believe in an unpredictable model that should have been discarded centuries ago, but for some reason is making its way back through the ignorant rantings of the idiot pop stars like Tila Tequila, Bob, Kyrie Irving, and now Shane Dawson. You should not just be ashamed of your effort to mentally retard today's youth, but even more ashamed that you are not smart enough to know the difference yourself. All flat earthers, and especially Shane Dawson, are idiots.
You know, and then also, conspiracy theorist is a term created to make people look crazy in the first place.
Right.
Like, when did we become a society that instead of exploring theories, started calling things conspiracies?
Primarily because your conspiracy theory has no evidential basis, leaving only a worldwide government cover-up as the only explanation for your lack of evidence. This is typical for almost all conspiracy theories. Why are there no aliens? Easy, there are, but the government covers it up. But what about all the photos from space? Nah, it's just the government CGI agents. All lack of evidence can just be explained away as a government cover-up, when in reality, conspiracy theorists are nothing more than a bunch of jobless nut jobs who spend more time on the internet researching topics that have no significant value in life than with their own family and friends in real life. But all conspiratards, and especially flat earthers, are poor, lonely idiots.
So now that we've talked about it, do you think the Earth is flat?
So I subscribe to the ideology of the flat Earth theory.
And you are an idiot.
Well, then I guess if you put it that way, I guess I kind of believe it too.
And Shane Dawson, you are an idiot too. Now I'd like to take the time out to thank Shane Dawson for bringing his bald monkey human hybrid brother along to provide us with a great tool by which we can measure all flat Earth idiots. Because Shane Dawson, you and your brother are idiots. I'm Father Skeptic, and I'm out.
We're trapped in the dome.
What shape is the Earth, Daddy?